Hey everybody, I'm here to tell you Patriots Unfiltered brought to you by FedEx. And FedEx, they are ready for the holidays, guys. And you probably heard this read before, but we're just reminding you, Christmas, mere 3 days away, but they're ready. If you need to get something there, it's not too late. FedEx, they're ready for the holidays.
Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
In your database, would
it.
you categorize that as the homeless crew?
That is the 2014. That was the 2014 edition of the Belichick hoodie.
You need to find a way to harness this.
He hasn't. I have.
Fred, he's looking at it and he says that is the 2014.
Right.
Do you doubt him?
That'd be funny. He goes to another team. He goes, oh, and by the way, Matt Patricia's going to be our offensive coordinator. They follow all the NFL teams except for the Patriots. We're the only team it doesn't follow.
Yeah. No, we're not following the Patriots. We don't like them.
Right.
We do calls against them. I'm mad at Paul, so I go to social media and find someone like saying bad stuff about Paul and just liking everything.
Deuce liked it.
What? No, I don't know, Paul. What? I don't know. It's just a tweet I saw.
Jules, obviously one of the greatest coaches of all time. I would concur with your overrated nature. I liked the snark. He's coming around, Mike. Evan is coming around.
So teams just cut guys when they make egregious mistakes sometimes.
Wow, this is where I get Mike is in a he's in a dark place.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Fueled by Duncan.
All right.
That was perfect. It's the opposite of a walk-off. It was like a walk-on.
It's a walk-on.
Walk-on home run.
Sorry about that. We're on live video.
All of it. Yeah. Video,
This is
audio.
You might want to talk into the mic.
Yeah. This is how the sausage is made.
Nobody wants to see your sausage.
No one. Yeah. Put the sausage away.
Hold on. I just gotta
There it is.
organize myself.
Very impressive, Freddie.
Sorry, everybody.
Right on timing. I mean,
Yeah, we're just doing something.
I was just so wanting him to say, all right.
I was waiting. I'm like, I'm not gonna say it. Hopefully he knows. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, here we are.
So what's going on?
We're getting ready to kick it off. No, we just that was just the open. You missed absolutely nothing, Freddie.
Okay.
Great read by me, though, I would say.
Yeah,
like the FedEx
Mike did a
read.
great job of
you got the
stuttering
read in?
over his
FedEx,
read.
they're ready for the holiday.
All right.
What
And
more
what's
needs
all
to be
this
said?
liquor here?
Booze from Matt Morrell, the producer, taking care of the talent.
Matt's giving us stuff? Wow.
Yeah, I know. Goes above and
I
beyond.
don't give anybody anything. I just get.
Yeah.
Do it every year, guys.
Well, it's always a surprise, though, Matt, because it's just greatly appreciated. So.
Speaking of getting things, I forgot to mention yesterday that Pete in Ottawa bought us lunch.
And it was an outstanding lunch, too.
So thank you, Pete in Ottawa.
Thank you, Pete.
So
It's delicious.
all right. So we're one day closer on to Cincinnati. And how we feeling?
I feel like I'm glad that last game is getting further in the rearview mirror, but I feel like it's kind of relentless the talk about it. So I'm looking forward to another game, but who knows what this game's going to bring with Joe Burrow and this offense coming. A lot of players talking yesterday. I thought it was interesting. Pass rush. We got to get to him. He just has a real calm in the pocket and a connection with his receivers. And it's just funny when you listen to the guys. He'll throw it to anybody. You see Jamar Chase on one side. They double him. He doesn't have any problem going to another guy. So it's that old thing. He likes the open receiver, not a favorite receiver.
No, he's got it all. He's got the head, he's got the shoulders, and he's got everything else.
The arm.
Yeah, he's got the swagger.
The cool, too.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty poised.
Yep.
Even in rough moments. There's a couple of things, Freddie, we like to talk about the spot, right?
Yep.
And I do think I mentioned earlier in the week about they've had a fair amount of back-to-back road games. I think it's like the fourth time they've played back-to-back road games, something like that. So it is a back-to-back road, and I didn't really even think about it until yesterday. But they also have Buffalo next week, potentially for the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
So maybe, I'm not saying.
Could they be
maybe
looking
they're
ahead?
looking ahead,
Yeah.
you know.
Chance to clinch the playoffs at least this week for them too.
Yeah, no, they need the game. So I think it's, you know, like it. You don't have a chance for the number 1 seed next week if you slip up this week.
Right.
But, you know, maybe their mindset is big win at Tampa Bay, big game next week against Buffalo.
Yeah, we got to go play a crappy Patriots team in the cold.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do that.
Now, what do you feel Christmas Eve? Like, is there an advantage to be had there
when you're on the
road or at home?
I think at home,
See, I think on the road.
Oh,
Because I think Christmas Eve is gone.
yeah.
For the NFL, like the NFL players,
It's not a thing.
the road team is like, I'm out. Like, I'm on the road. I
Yeah.
got no Christmas Eve. The home team is like, well, when the game is over, I can get home and I can be with my family. I can get the bike for Johnny under the tree. Well, all that.
So
all
it's
that
still
kind of
on your
stuff.
mind. You haven't
Yeah.
put it out of your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, does that matter? No. I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
I mean, I would just say there'd probably be a pretty good atmosphere here with people, Santa hats. And,
Yeah, it's going to be kind of
cheerleaders.
wild weather.
Maybe a
leading
little
up to it.
Ho ho ho.
lubed up, as Tom Brady once said.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be wild weather leading up to it, but
Yeah.
by game time it should just be cold, maybe a little windy.
Yeah.
Not too bad though compared to
Doesn't sound like it's going to be
Yeah.
a terrible weather day on Saturday.
Yeah.
right.
Tonight and tomorrow, as Freddie mentioned yesterday, is supposed to be really
Yeah.
nasty.
We should mention that Matt Judon is the lone
Yes.
Patriot to make the Pro Bowl.
Yes,
Fourth-
very
fourth
very
straight.
deserving selection, I would say, and by far and away the most deserving Patriot. Right? Would you
Yeah.
guys agree with that?
Yeah.
I would say, throughout the season, like I think, if you started to vote lately, I think Marcus Jones could be a candidate.
That's disappointing.
Like as a rookie. But like he didn't really come on till kind of mid-season,
His numbers are still better than the
Oh,
guy
yeah.
that actually made it. So it's a little bit
better than
disappointing.
Duvernay's?
I think so. I mean, Duvernay, I think, did a lot
I
of
thought they were
damage
better
early
than
on,
Berrios'.
and then he's been out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I mean,
Duvernay
he's
just
up
got
there.
hurt Tuesday.
Tuesday. I don't
He-
know.
he-
Evan was giving me the rundown.
Duvernay
as we
broke
walked
his
down
foot
here.
Tuesday in practice.
Yeah, and
Hasn't he been out though?
I don't think he's played every game,
Yeah.
no. But he just got
It's
hurt
always weird
for the
with
year.
Special teams. You have
I was surprised that he didn't get the nod because, they still have the nonsense where I don't know what it is. It's not a game anymore, but activities. So they do replace them.
It's the Pro Bowl games,
Yeah.
Paul.
And Berrios got the nod to replace Duvernay, which I thought was a little odd. I thought it could have been Marcus.
Yeah, and
Jones.
some people think that Brendan Schooler was a snub, but
okay.
I mean, when you're on special teams, you have to have done it for many years before you get recognized for it. Like
Yeah.
I think he's good. I think he's really good, and like if he does what he did this year for like a few more years,
Yeah, it's-
he'll be in.
it's
He'll
just-
he'll get. He could be in the conversation.
Perfect for
Yeah.
like what Paul's been hitting on. Like
Yeah.
you find a undrafted rookie to play gunner on special teams, which we know is an important position here, but you got a guy that you're not paying anything more than a
Yeah.
undrafted rookie salary. I was a little disappointed for Nick Folk. I know he didn't deserve it, but I just thought it would have been cool. His last Pro Bowl was 2007, his rookie year. So to kind of bookend things with
Are you
I
saying
think-
he's quitting? After this year?
No, I know that's not, I don't want to say bookend, but just cool. 15 years ago, that maybe he would make it again. But
Yeah.
fell
So
short.
I don't feel like any Patriots really got snubbed. Stevenson is great, but like there's a lot of good
Oh, I
running
know.
backs.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's
AFC.
like it's easy to look at his numbers and say, "Wow, how did he not go to the Pro Bowl?" Until you see Nick Chubb
and
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry.
It's like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Tough in the AFC.
So, speaking of statistics and Alex Barth, who does the Catch 22 podcast
Yeah.
with Evan,
Barthy.
had, I just thought, a very revealing stat yesterday that he talked to us before.
Yeah.
The average start, I don't know how you describe it, like
Starting
yardage.
Their average yards to gain
Yards to
on
gain
first
on first down is 10.2. So think about that. Out of the gate, it's 1st and 10. So that tells us that on average, something's happening, like a pre-snap penalty or something on offense, that now their average
Yes.
is 10.2.
Question in the back of the room.
You guys know I'm extremely mathematically challenged.
Yep.
Right? Okay, so this could be stupid, but I'm going to throw it out there because I thought about it. He told us that, and we all went, whoa,
Yeah.
like that's unbelievable. So let's say you have 100 1st and 10s. and then 1 first and 15. Doesn't that make your average on first down more than 10?
No. Yes, but what about when the other team has a penalty, like an offside, and it's 1st and 5, so they offset?
Yeah, but don't you think you're going to get more offensive penalties than defensive penalties?
I don't know. Maybe, on first down.
I just don't think it's as remarkable a stat as I thought it was when I heard it. I just think if you get a couple of penalties on first, you get a couple of holding penalties and make it 1st and 20, your average is going to be more than 10.
Right.
I think we need context for the rest of the league. What they
Yeah,
average
I think,
on.
and he also added that I think there's no one at that point except for the Raiders.
Oh, no. But my point being, the Patriots have had problems with penalties. That to me is the stat. The Patriots have
but you're
had
saying
problems.
that's all it takes is like a handful of penalties in your ball 1st and 10.
Correct. Like, I'm not blown away by the 10.2.
Yeah, right.
I'm
If it was
blown
11.
away by there's way too many penalties by the Patriots offense. Just like Josh McDaniels on Sunday. I think they had 8 or 9 offensive penalties.
Yep.
If a lot of those come on first down, you're averaging more than 10 yards to go on first down.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so it's bad. Like the penalties.
I know.
Penalties, Mike?
bad, and
Bad caddying.
And I just would put this under. There's only so many stats people keep digging up a new stat to tell you how bad it's been, and then this stat, and then this stat. It's like, we get it. It's bad. Like, you don't need to go into any more than 3rd down and red zone. Points scored. Those 3. I don't even need to go by those. It's just that tells me enough of where they're at.
The other thing we should probably talk about is there's not a report, but an observation from I forgot who said it, but they claim that Mac has a limp.
Oh yeah,
All right,
we were
so-
talking about.
So
it.
I
Who
did
said-
some.
Who said this?
I came upstairs today to talk to Mike and Evan, and Evan wasn't here yet. So when I was on the show yesterday, on my show, Fred,
Yeah, one of your shows.
there was a tweet that came out from a gentleman named Mike Cadlick, and I want to apologize.
He took over for Evan at CLNS.
Because I don't know who that is. I haven't been in the locker room on a regular basis this year, so that's
No, he's new.
That's a me problem, not a
No,
you.
this
Like, I
year.
just want to state that I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I didn't know who it was, and I was told that he actually took Evan's job
Yep.
when Evan came with us at CLNS Media. So he is the one that tweeted out that saw Mac Jones in the locker room, had a noticeable limp. And my initial reaction, Fred, was I think Mac Jones kind of walks with a limp.
You mean his gait?
Yeah, I think he has a funny walk, and I think back to draft night. That kind of saunter up to Roger Goodell, which was as uncomfortable as anything I ever saw. But that's how he walks, I think. That was my initial response, but I know it. I just said, like, well, you know, because I was on the air at the time, I said I would very much doubt that he's going to be on the injury report, and I can't imagine this is anything. Well, evidently, it sparked like this whole thing, like Mark Daniels and Andrew Callahan and some of the other beat writers snapped back. Said, yeah, he wasn't limping at all. They had video of him walking up to the podium
Yeah, it was
in the
there.
media workroom.
Didn't look like it.
Yeah.
Then there was like, was it kind of a funny walk up to the platform to get onto the?
Nothing stood out to me. I don't
Nothing
know. Just
stood out to me
walked-
either, Mike.
just
I'm
walked
with you.
in.
Well, I will say, though, that the Raiders had Chandler Jones mic'd up for the game, and so they released, some Chandler Jones highlights, and one of them is hitting Mac from behind and just crushing him. So I don't know about a limp, but I won't be surprised if Mac is hurting.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he's going to show up on the injury report, but he took some pounding in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they specifically asked him, too, about it. And, I mean, he gave the standard, everybody's got bumps and bruises at this point.
Yeah.
It didn't really, I mean, Adam Jones found a way to read into it. But
I'm
otherwise,
sure.
it just felt like, meh.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's
Wha-
tiring.
Why is he?
It's tiring.
He's
dude.
exhausting even you.
Just only 1 hour, too. I didn't have to do the whole 4 hour. It's tired. And then, Jim Murray was funny. He goes, well, it took him 50 minutes, but he got to you, Paulie. He got to you.
What was it he got to you
Just
with?
like some nonsense about something like that. Like, I was like, what are you
relentless.
doing? Like, I don't know.
Good. No, he needs somebody to push back on him. He has that nighttime show. He's got the stage to himself. No one's pushing back on him.
Yeah. Well,
we'll
see what happens next week with him. Is he going to be moving?
Yeah. Is that happening?
I don't know.
Because
I don't think so.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All
Moving
right.
on.
I don't think anything is imminent.
Yeah. Okay.
On video, Paul.
Yeah.
No, I talked to him a little about it yesterday, and he had nothing.
He's feeling it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's his business to tell not mine. He didn't tell me anything. Let's just put it that way.
I know nothing.
About nothing.
All right. 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. Web radio at patriots.com is the email address. The league announced today a huge, and I mean huge deal with YouTube/Google. They now are the owners of the Sunday Ticket.
That's the thing you guys were telling me about yesterday, correct?
Mm-hmm. So they're going to be paying the league over $2 billion a year for the rights to this. And you're going to be able to watch any game, anytime. I don't know the exact subscription fee. I don't know if that was announced.
If only
I
we
heard
could get cameras at every game.
Somebody said $300.
I heard about $300. That's what it used to be when it was with direct tickets. So I think people may assuming, but that's big. That's a big deal. Frankly, with NFL Plus, I don't know how many people listening subscribe to NFL Plus. I did for $80. I'm going to scrap that. I don't need that. I'll just buy the Sunday the YouTube one.
Yeah. At least on the
'Cause
direct.
now I can get every game at any time.
Yeah,
Right?
and the DirecTV, at least when they did it back when I had it, they would also put out the condensed games, so you could watch afterwards, which is for a lot of us a big reason why we have the NFL Plus is to scout and watch the other games.
Yeah, I mean
so I'm just curious for you specifically, Freddie. Like, why do you feel like you need to have access to all the games? This Mac just walking up to the podium right now on Felger not Felger and Maz on Beetle and so. Like, I didn't think there was anything.
Ow.
You guys can watch for yourself. Like, was there anything out of the ordinary of that?
No. I mean, he only took like 4 steps.
He kind of has the football player. Remember when we used to always talk about Teddy Bruschi, Freddie?
Yeah.
Teddy Bruschi, you would watch him every week, and you'd say, he ain't playing Sunday. He just had a limp.
Yeah.
Like, he just had a football player limp.
Well, all these guys, it's like I can't even imagine what their bodies actually feel like. I mean, it's got to be impossible for 90% of them to even get out of bed in the morning without being like, oh, I mean, and by the time we're seeing them, they probably
sure
had
he
a
ain't
massage,
feeling great, to Freddie's
a hot
point.
tub. I mean, like all these things that they go
That
through.
hit that he took that he got a little bloodied on, because I think he went down and then he banged into another Raider on the other side. He kind of got high load by accident.
He got smoked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where we smoke it.
So why do you You're with us every week, so your need to have.
Well, I
every
bought
game.
NFL Plus just to see how it's working,
Yeah.
And all
but
that.
I mean, you're going to get YouTube now.
No. I said.
Oh.
I said kind of like, rhetorically.
Some overlap between the two. What do you need?
I
most?
would get that. That's what I would.
I see what you're saying. I misunderstood.
Yeah, I'm not going to actually get it, but I might and expense it. Who
Well, what
knows?
would be the difference between? I mean, NFL
that-
Plus.
is
and
that on the table?
NFL Plus,
Ticket.
you don't get every game.
Yeah.
You get every game that's being shown in your region. Mm-hmm. So let's just say I'm traveling and I'm a Patriots fan and I'm in Kansas City. If the Patriots game isn't being shown in Kansas City, like at the 4:30, that's the national game or whatever, I don't get it. Mm-hmm. I don't get it. Conversely, like if I'm a Chiefs fan and I'm in same thing in New England, if the game isn't, you don't get to watch your game no matter what, and you don't get to watch any game you choose. It's the game you're being fed by the network in your region,
Right.
and then all the national game, the one-off game, like you get Thursday night, you get Sunday night, you get Monday night as part of NFL Plus. You get that game.
I think it's a great move for the NFL just because, I mean, as somebody who literally bought a freaking satellite dish to get it when I lived in California, and now, I've said it many times, that's all my kids watch are YouTube. I think, I think it's good for the NFL because they're going to tap a whole new generation of fans that are now going to be able to hopefully have, some kind of access to the games. And
if they're smart, they'll do all the other kind of the different angle views, like what Amazon's doing Thursday night.
That's really cool.
Sunday Ticket on DirecTV had their own red zone.
Yeah.
So,
with Siciliano.
Yeah, so they'll do something like that.
That would have been enough for you to buy it just to get the red zone without.
Well,
Scott
no, because
Hansen
Evan
on
told me it wasn't as good as the regular
well,
one.
he's saying
so
that as Scott Hansen is good.
I can only imagine how bad it is if it was worse than Scott Hansen.
Yeah, I don't know why you don't like Scott.
Because he loses track of every.
He does a fine job. It's fine.
I just don't think it's that hard. I really don't.
I watch it, when we don't have a game, and I don't find myself not knowing what's going on.
I don't find myself not knowing what's going on because I'm watching. He doesn't know what's going on.
He does a fine job.
Now, I don't think I'm being way too critical because I'm not taking into consideration how many different like promos he has to worry about.
Yeah.
So when he misidentifies something that's happening in a game, he's probably being said, well, you have to have this, like, DraftKings drive of the week here ready for, he's probably doing a thousand
He's got
different
people
things.
in his ear.
And I'm just watching the game. So I see it. And I'm like, how can you not see
know.
that? So I'm being too hard on
But
it.
Paul, you have a
Absolutely.
special-
Paul's just
you have a
hoping that
special
everybody
thing.
who does it gets fired, so maybe someday they'll offer him the
I
job.
want no part of that.
I mean,
Joe.
I think he should.
I
Not
don't
everyone
think-
has the special gift that Paul
I
does, but
know.
he's probably too good at it because he'd start running down with the last 6 plays where
Right.
in this one game we're going 2 on red zone, and
Yeah.
he'd be too good at it.
All right,
that's
so
not, to
that
me, that's
touchdown-
that's not a fun
That
job.
touchdown just happened, but I want to go back to that timeout that was called over here.
Can you
Why
believe
are you
this? What
doing
are they
that?
thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's a fun job.
Really?
That Scott Hansen has to do. Like, I don't really think you could.
You don't really get to
it.
enjoy that weekend.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
I really,
Oh, God.
I can't believe that red zone specifically is like I can't believe how much I would said. I have no interest in that to how much I love something. Like I can't imagine going 180 degrees on
Lisa.
something the way I have. My thought of red zone before I ever saw it, and then when I actually experienced it, like this is like the greatest thing ever.
I mean, it's like 7 straight hours on
Oh,
the
yeah.
air, right?
Right.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, that's like basically 1 to 8 o'clock at night. You're just
Yep.
But I
firing through
think
stuff.
it's such a great way if you really like the NFL, which obviously we do, to get a good story of absolutely every game if you watch Red Zone.
Yep.
You know what happened in every game.
Yep.
Yeah. It really is. Like at first, like I was like, no, I like to watch the entire
too.
game. I like to see the context. I like to just focus on a game. But the last few times that we were home, because of a bye or whatever, I found myself just watching Red Zone.
Yeah.
All of these years, I could count on one hand the amount of times that like a game is coming down the stretch, and it might be like a Buffalo, Kansas City, or something like that, where I actually click off Red Zone and say, no, I need to watch
Focus.
this.
Yeah.
I need to watch
Oh,
like
yeah,
the last
toward an
foot.
ending, yeah.
But I'm saying I could count on one hand the amount of times I've done that.
Yeah.
Red Zone does it fine.
Oh.
Red Zone does it perfectly fine.
no commercials. Your day just melts away watching football.
Yeah, like our game, even though it didn't end the way we wanted, but like that's the kind of game you'd want to have seen at least the last 4 minutes in its entirety.
Right.
Well,
you know,
but you would if you were just watching and it wasn't your game.
Yeah.
you got everything you needed to see on Red
Yeah,
Zone.
but you wanna see it,
your
like,
game.
in the
you
s-
want to watch your game.
yeah, you want to see the chronology. You
the
want to see
flow.
it,
But you see
Yeah.
it on Red Zone. This is what I'm saying. You would have seen the whole
I-
tying drive that the Raiders had. You would have seen every play of that on Red Zone.
yeah. Okay.
You would have.
Yeah, but it's all. I think it's hard for me at least to stay in the rhythm of the game and to
Yeah.
feel like kind of who's
Yeah,
pressing.
if
who's
it's your
not,
game, like I would not want to watch a Patriots game on Red Zone.
Yeah.
I would want to watch the entirety of the Patriots.
But you have the rare ability to untangle all of it and somehow make it all make sense. Like you can watch Red Zone and then recap each game individually.
He's taking shots there. You know that. Like he thinks he's
can't
you think
compliment
he's
Paul.
complimenting me, but you know what he's really doing.
I'm
is
going to
he's
take
making
that
fun of me.
personally.
Anyway,
And I took that personal.
It's a big deal for the league to have this announcement and to have this deal with YouTube. Like if you have the YouTube TV,
You're in.
Now you have to pay extra for this.
Yeah.
I just want to let people know that if you have YouTube TV, this doesn't
Like the
come with it.
champagne room.
Right.
Yeah,
Pay
this
extra for that.
this is an added thing that you
Yeah.
have to pay for. But
But you don't have
you
to
can watch it
subscribe
on
to
your
a whole
TV.
new service that has to come out and put a
Yeah.
satellite dish on your roof and screws into your
Right.
into your roof and everything.
you
that
get it
comes
on your
with
TV. So it's cool. And it puts a lot of money in the owner's pockets. I
Santa
can tell
Claus
you
just
that
came
much.
in
Santa Tees.
Yeah.
the production room.
All right. So, any other news that we want to talk about?
Minor
anything
stuff,
else?
just with the injury report yesterday. Joe Cardona
Yeah,
with a
back out.
with a DNP.
And they signed a guy.
They have a guy in the practice squad, a long snapper whose name I am not familiar
Tucker
with.
Addington.
Carlson. So something just to keep an eye on. Jonathan Jones added to the injury report as being limited with a chest injury. My theory is on added to the injury report midweek. Tyquan Thornton also added with a knee injury. So neither one of those gentlemen were on the injury report on Tuesday, Freddie.
Yeah.
But on Wednesday, they were added as being limited. That tells me that maybe that something happened in Wednesday's practice and they weren't able to finish the practice. That's why they were limited on Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's something to keep an eye on today. Be curious to see when Evan gets
Yeah.
back and gives us our update.
Should be any second.
Hopefully they're both out there.
Yeah.
Well, was Tuesday's practice
And
just a walkthrough?
no, they didn't practice at
They
all.
didn't.
They
But
didn't
it was
practice
but
at
it was
all.
an estimation of what they would have done. There was
Based
a lot of,
but it's based on last week, isn't it?
correct. So they didn't have any injuries,
Yeah.
and then they got one on Wednesday. This
yeah.
is my point.
Right.
Like there was a lot of other guys that were limited based on an estimation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those two guys weren't considered injured.
They weren't considered injured last week
No, they weren't considered injured on Tuesday.
because of last week. So
Mike, can
last
you help me?
No,
I can't
see,
do. I can't do.
So
the
last
semantic
week
thing.
they weren't injured. So
No,
they
no,
don't.
no. On Tuesday they weren't injured. On Tuesday there was an estimation of who would have been able to practice had they practiced, and
But what? Okay, but
And
what? But what's the-
Jalen Mills, Devontae Parker, Damian Harris, Jack Jones,
But what-
Jacoby Myers, Ramondre Stevenson,
I
and
know,
Yadi
but-
Kajas were all listed
But
as
what's the
as either
estimation
TNP,
based on?
their current health.
I
If
thought it
they
was-
had practiced,
Right. But
the Patriots did not practice on Tuesday. The participation listed is estimated if they had practiced
Right,
on
but-
Tuesday.
But I thought that the estimation's based on their status from the week before.
No, it's based on Tuesday. If they would have practiced,
I do see
what they
though,
would have been listed.
I wonder if they got checked out on Tuesday though, or if this was you hadn't seen them since Sunday after the game,
Right.
And then
Also
they
a
come in,
possibility.
you know?
Right.
Also a possibility, but
But-
it's based on Tuesday.
No.
Like not like they weren't hurt last week.
Yeah, yeah. No, no.
And
No,
they
but-
got hurt in the game, and then they were,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, I think it happened in the game.
I think it happened in practice.
We'll see. We'll see in a few minutes here.
Yeah.
Same with
Although-
Eli Apple for the Bengals, who
All right.
was not on the injury report on Tuesday and is on the injury report with an ankle injury on Wednesday as being limited. Hopefully, they're nothing serious, and they just, maybe something happened, with Tyquan Thornton, hurt his knee or something, missed a play or two, and he's fine.
Yeah.
If they're like full participation today, or, if they're DNPs,
I mean,
then something happened.
You really need Jonathan Jones this weekend. I mean, that's.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't. It seems like maybe Jack Jones is trending towards getting better, but I mean,
No.
Jay Jones
Yeah. Yeah,
Scary.
you're in trouble
against these guys.
because Mills is going to be out again, right? We think.
Looks it.
Still out. We'll see. I mean, if Cardona can't go. I mean, I think that's
I don't know.
something to think about.
To me, like the first thing I think about when you say that they need is they've been a little thin lately in cornerback, and I got to give credit to the defensive coaches. We've been talking about coaching a lot on this team, but Steve Belichick and Gerard Mayo and Brian Belichick and everybody else. I think the defense has been doing a pretty good job this year, and I think they're scheming it up every game. They've always been a game plan defense, but I think they've been doing a good job, and from the coaching on down.
Yeah.
So I think that's one part of the team where I don't think you can look at coaching and say, "Oh, they're not doing a good." They're doing a good job.
Yeah, I agree. I just I said yesterday though. I wonder how good they'd be if they had some kind of complementary play. An offense that's
Right.
able to take their turnovers that the defense is getting
Right.
and score.
And
score
now
touchdowns.
you've got a 2-score lead.
Yeah.
And that helps everybody.
I think that they have some good pieces. They definitely need to improve this offseason, and there are some key spots I would look at to improve. But I think we'll see the pass rush here down the stretch. Just starting with this game where you have a pocket passer for the most part. I do think Burrow's got some underrated ability to run, which surprised me from time to time. But this is about getting after the quarterback. I think this is Barmore and Uche and Judon, and I think that's the way you got to go. You got to get after him early, and not to give away.
And
my
he can
key.
run, but he's not a mobile quarterback. He's not considered a mobile.
Yeah, but they'll run him a little bit. Like they'll just run draws
he's
and
pretty
stuff with
mobile.
him,
Yeah.
like QB draw.
Burrow's
like,
pretty mobile.
when-
Mike's
just
right.
when you don't expect it. They had one. I forget what game it was. And, just in the red zone. I think they were like 7-8 yard line. The C's parted, and he just ran right up the middle.
No, he can run.
It's just something that you don't really expect. But just
But he makes his money in the pocket.
He does. I mean, he just some of those throws a couple weeks ago. That one to seal it. Who was that against, Paul? The one that he just put it right on
Higgins.
the guy. Higgins. I mean, it's just
It's like a 3rd and 11.
Some of the throws he makes are just. It's just that he's a throwback quarterback in a lot of ways of just one of those guys who's calm and cool in the pocket and puts the ball where it needs to be.
So like last game, they did a good job with Adams. And he kept trying to go to this Hollis guy, and until the end, it really didn't work. this game, if they do, let's say they do a good job on Chase, which is even harder. Well, yeah, I'd say he's Adams, but I think T. Higgins could go off. Yeah. You know, like he's a bet.
Well, I think Burrow won't miss guys.
Yeah, and he
Carr,
won't miss.
Carr missed Hollins several times
That's
in
a big
that game.
point.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, like, T. Higgins could have a huge game. You know,
I think Joe. To Paul's point, I think Joe Burrow, his ability to throw the ball is going to tell you a lot about the secondary. You know, it's a good test, and that's why you need Jonathan Jones. Like I don't know what they do if he can't go, if Mills can't go, if Jack Jones can't go. You're down to Marcus Jones and Sean Wade playing on the outside. A little bit scary.
Yep. All right, 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. Webradio@patriots.com is the email address. We got picks today.
Picks.
So we have to hurry. So let's get our listeners into the action here. We'll start with Patty and Agawam. What's up, Patty?
Hey, guys. I'll make it quick since you got picks later.
Jeez, hurry.
Hurry. So I think this defense has been playing pretty good the last few weeks. Don't know how you guys all feel about it. I especially thought, that Raiders' final offensive drive notwithstanding, I thought they played pretty good last week. Really interested to see how they match up in this game. And honestly, I think that if we're going to have a chance in this game, which I really don't think we do, but if we're going to have a chance, they're going to be the ones they're going to keep us in this game. And I know I advocated before the Buffalo game that I would like to see them just, final score be damned. Just let's see them take some more shots down the field. I mean, we're not supposed to win these next 3 games. I mean, you might as well see what you can do in the deep passing game.
No, that's what they did last game. They pushed the ball downfield.
I know it didn't work out
game.
all too well, but
I don't really care how they do it. I just do something. Score some points. I don't care how they do it.
No penalties.
And
find a way.
Thanks, Patty. If I thought, if Evan told me, for example, that Thornton's like open, but he's not. Like, there's no guys that are like open that Mac is like not choosing not to go after.
No, but he's missing them.
Yeah.
Like I thought he had plays to be made the other day. He just wasn't accurate.
Right.
With them. I thought the one to Myers.
Right.
Yeah,
So
Myers was open on that play.
They are taking shots, but like, so what?
I thought he had a play to be made down the field to Aguilar. Now, I think Aguilar could have caught it, but I don't think it was a great throw. I thought the one that he threw to Thornton was a good throw, and Thornton should have been able to get his feet in bounds. Those were all downfield throws.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think, they need to do that. Yeah.
I think they do. I think that this, underneath stuff is not going to do it. If you're just going to play like you did against Buffalo and try to stay close, great.
I don't care. Whatever you do, just execute it. Do it right.
Well, they executed it against Buffalo, but you're not going to get anywhere with it. That's what teams are slamming down on you. You have to do something different.
Yeah.
3.5 yards a pop.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not with Patty and just well, you just have to do what's the difference? No, you go into the game, trying to win it. And you do what you think is the best to try to win it. You had a terrible secondary against the Raiders. Open it up and see if you can take advantage of it. They couldn't. They threw for 112 yards.
Yeah.
That was disappointing. But I understand what the mentality was, don't you?
Yeah, for sure.
I know we just want to kill the coaches all the time, but I understand what they would think in that game.
For sure. I think it goes back to what Evan was, saying yesterday, that it's just these dramatic shifts between game plans each week, and it's you just do what you do good, and it doesn't.
What is that?
Right. Well, it's they go from now we're really trying to push down the field to this game we're only throwing 3-yard passes.
Right.
Isn't there a happy middle ground where we take some shots downfield, we take the short stuff when it's there, and try to find some balance that way. Yeah.
Let's go to Jake in Chicago. What's up, Jake?
Hey, guys. First-time caller.
Thank you.
Love the show. I've been to 2 games this year. The Detroit game was outstanding.
Nice.
And I was just in Vegas. Very disappointing, to say the least. However, my annoyance is that nobody's addressing how poorly Max played since, week 15 of last year? So I feel like we're throwing so much blame at Patricia, which deservedly so. He does deserve some, but he wasn't successful under McDaniels in the last 5-6 games last year either.
That's correct. Yep.
So I feel like we have to really kind of address the quarterback situation along with coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a hard one. I do think that the change in coach
Thanks,
this
Jay.
year is hard to ignore. Like, I agree. I think, down the stretch last year, he tailed off a little bit. But how much of that was because of him just not being that good, maybe other teams sort of understanding what he's doing, or, just kind of rookie wall kind of stuff. Like, he tailed off. He was,
But I would say that
a lot of factors.
This year's offense, if they played a team that was as bad as Jacksonville was last year, remember they crushed them
that'd be
down the
interesting.
stretch. I don't think they'd do that this year.
No.
I don't think they'd be able to do that this year. That's the difference. Like, even against the bad teams, the offense doesn't look good.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Now, I think part of that is circumstantial. I think right now they're just beaten. They're beaten down. I think that's why I said it's impossible to separate the coaching thing, because I
Yeah.
think that really affected them mentally, unfortunately, before the season even started.
Yeah.
And that's where my problem with Mac is.
Evan's back.
Evan has returned from practice. Evan has returned from practice. Yeah, Evan has returned from practice. What was the mood? Who wasn't there? What did he see?
All right, Evan.
My time to shine.
Yeah.
Only a couple more.
By
of
the
these,
way,
right?
before you tell us, you told us that you had some grievances
I
from
do.
the show that you weren't on, and that you took notes of things that we said. So
I
maybe
did.
we can get into that later.
I did,
Yeah.
but Alex isn't here, and some of my gripes are with her. So I
Oh.
just got to come down,
Whoa.
and she said she was going to be here.
Okay.
But
No.
All right.
I didn't want to mansplain basketball to this kid.
exactly.
That was the greatest line ever.
Anyways, get to practice first, then
Yeah.
we can
Oh.
do our airing of grievances. No Devontae Parker, Jalen Mills, and no Joe Cardona. Not at practice today. It was a DNP yesterday. So Tucker Addington is the long snapper that they signed to the practice squad last week. And it's looking like we could have Tucker Addington long snapping on Saturday for the Patriots. So be interesting.
Marcus Jones
thing
can't
to
do
see.
that.
First
come on.
time
Does
that
everything
Joe
else.
Cardona will miss a game in his career in the NFL. Obviously, he's a long snapper, so you expect him to be healthy, but
Yeah.
still.
Huh.
Interesting.
So, Jonathan Jones, Tyquan Thornton?
Out there.
Okay, good news.
Yep.
Good news.
Yep, they were both out there, and Damian Harris remains out there. Jack Jones was out there, so those guys we'll see. I mean, look, it's not a big difference, but just looking at the Bengals wide receivers, 6'4" T. Higgins, 6'1" Boyd, 6 feet Jamar Chase. Jack Jones is at least 5'11", so it's at least a little bit taller than Miles Bryant and John Jones and Marcus Jones. I'm not saying he's 6'4", but you at least get a little bit more size on the outside, I guess, against those guys.
He's almost 175 pounds, too.
Soaking wet.
good.
You have an attitude problem. You.
You're the problem.
I have my
me.
eye on you. You have an attitude problem.
Little joke. Just joking. Just joking.
No, but I was talking before you got back. I was really anxious to see if those two guys, because I am always a little bit more concerned with limited guys
Yeah.
that pop up in the middle of the week.
Right.
And, you wonder if something happened this week at practice that would say, oh, well, like Devin Duvernay broke his foot
Right.
at practice on Tuesday. Like, he's out. Like, those are the kinds of ones that worry me.
Yeah, it did seem like the projected injury report or the estimated injury report was Fugazi on
Right.
the other day. Like, it meant nothing. It was basically just a reprint of what it was the week before.
So if they're just limited and they were out there today, I would expect them to be ready to
Right.
go.
My guess is that those two guys had in-game injuries that we just didn't find out about until Wednesday.
Until Wednesday.
Do you want to
Yep.
ask about the lamp? The limp?
Oh, did you any limping of Mac Jones?
I did not see any limping today, but I will say this.
This
and
is the guy that replaced you at Clintus.
Right.
it was.
I'm
No.
sorry. At what?
Clintus.
No, don't say that again.
I like that.
not to defend my guy Mike, but last week in Arizona, I did see Mac Jones with a noticeable limp walking around the University of Arizona campus, and I actually made note of it and was like, that's
That didn't look
interesting.
right.
That's not looking good. And so yesterday when Mike reported that he had a limp or said he had a limp. I wasn't surprised that somebody else had noticed he was limping or favoring the ankle a little bit, because I had also noticed that as well. So we'll see. I think he's fine. Like, I'm not trying to make a big thing out of it.
What odds do you give that once the season's over, we find out that Mac that basically played
getting the tightrope surgery?
He basically played the season on one ankle.
100%.
Yeah.
He's a warrior.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely that possibility. But I wanted to put that out there just because I think yesterday I was listening to your station.
Good use of that.
One of his.
Really good use of
on
that.
my way
many
home,
stations.
and they're saying that he's milking it.
That was the Pac-Man thing that got me. I was like,
there was nobody else around when I saw him limping. So who's he milking it for, right? Like, he's milking it for me. Like, I don't think so. I don't think he's that.
He does know you.
He saw you.
Yeah. So let's cool it with the he's.
That's Adam though.
I know.
He's a little
I know,
different.
I know.
Tapped.
Yeah. Anything else, Evan, that you want to bring up? In your
Any
film study?
Do you feel festive at all out there? I mean, it is the holidays.
I think that the one thing I'll say, because I was in the locker room yesterday, and I think you go into the locker room and you go out to practice after a loss like that, and you do want to see what the mood is, what's the vibe of the team. And I had asked one player a question about the game, and he totally was like, wiped slate clean. Like, I'm not.
That's what they've done.
I'm not talking about it.
Yeah.
I kind of said, well, I just want to get it right. Like, I'm just asking you to get it right. And he's like, I appreciate that, but I'm done talking about that game. And
we're on to Cincinnati.
It does seem like they're trying. I'm not saying that they're going to go out on Saturday and win one for the Gipper, so to speak, or something like that because of that. But I think that it does feel like that game is trying to be put behind them.
Were they back on the upper fields today?
Lower field again
lower
today.
Lower field today.
And
okay.
no extended access this week.
Right out.
Got stuff to do.
Do you think Joe Cardona was the Gipper in that scenario? Is that who? One for Joe? Maybe.
Yeah. Anchors away, boys. All right.
He chuckled at himself.
855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. Web radio at Patriots.com. All right, let's get right into it. Back to the phones. Eduardo in L.A. has been holding on for a while. Hey, Eduardo.
Hey, guys. I'm a first-time caller.
Thank you.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can.
Great.
Loud and clear.
Excellent.
All right, I want to get started on the game versus the Bengals. What do we have to do to at least stay competitive with them? I feel personally that our front seven have to be crazy this game. Like, they need to get to Burrow. They need to stuff the run.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Score.
Because if they can't get it done, then they're putting up at least 35 on us.
Absolutely.
Score. They have to score. The offense needs to be better than it's been.
Yeah, complimentary football, and you got to score some points.
Score.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with either of you, but that's not happening. Like, this team's not going to get to 30.
Which one?
They're not going to score.
Yeah.
So I agree with the caller that, the one thing on paper that if you put these two teams up against each other, that the Patriots might have a distinct advantage in, it's their front versus their offensive line, right? Like, that's it. It's the Patriots defensive front against the Bengals offensive line. And the one thing you mentioned about film study and stuff like that, I do want to mention that I thought Christian Barmore looked really good.
I thought he played well.
Game. Back.
We mentioned him on the postgame.
He was pretty impactful the entire game. He only registered one pressure, but the other one got wiped out because there was a flag on the play on the defense, so it really was two. And on that final drive, their pass rush went quiet, but he was actually the only one that was at least trying to get a push up the middle. Oh. So I would say that that's good news as well.
Effort into question.
Yeah.
Lazar colon.
I don't want any Lazar colons going around
so
here.
Stay off of NBC Sports Boston. But I kill you every time.
I will say
the Lazar colon is a scary place.
I will say this though about I'm not questioning anybody's effort. I hate doing that. Okay, but on that last drive, the one guy that made the Pro Bowl from this team. I need to see more out of him than I saw on that last drive.
You're not the only one to say that.
And I think a lot of it, and I'm planning on asking him about this today when he goes to the podium, is when you ask him to drop into coverage 10 times a game, he's gassed, right? I mean, that's
Could be.
That's not easy to do.
You made that point yesterday. I hadn't thought of it that way.
Right.
It's a good way of looking at it.
And if that's the case, then I give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe the role that he was asked to play in that game, and then all of a sudden now you have to pin your ears back on a drive like that, it's a little bit difficult. But on 4th and 10 in particular, he's got a one-on-one against Jermaine Illuminor, and he just doesn't really try.
Here's what I'll say about that. I would not use the dropping, into space, gas excuse, because you expend more, as much if not more energy rushing the passer, because you're going up against a guy, and it's like, it's hand-to-hand combat for that same amount of time. I would say you expend more energy rushing the passer on every down rather than dropping back.
Yeah, that definitely could be true. I think for what I was more saying is from a mental standpoint as well. Like you have so much going on in the game that you're in different schemes and different roles and stuff.
I like that.
And it's just a lot going on for him. But I think that in that drive, I watched it again to make sure that I knew exactly what happened on that drive, because I feel like after further review, I didn't talk about it enough because I was trying not to be completely negative for the whole article. And on that final drive, you need a play from your best player on the roster, right? Yep. And I would also throw Uche in this category as well, who they had chipping Darren Waller instead of rushing, which drove me nuts. But regardless, you need 4th and 10. Like you need a play from him. Or even as the sequence continues after 4th and 10, a sack puts them into 2nd and 17 or something like that, and now all of a sudden the drive is a much more difficult situation. So you just needed one play from Judon or Uche, and they didn't come up with it, and that was disappointing.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Eduardo.
Can I say one more thing?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
I just saw right now notification Trey Hendrickson is going to play.
Oh, okay.
Daniel Russo's going to fight.
I don't know if he'll be that effective with a broken wrist, but if he is, then that just says a lot about whoever guards him,
Yeah. Oh, he's a disruptive guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's a
right.
good player. I mean, I think he should have his share of plays. He's a good player.
Yeah.
Like,
Thanks,
I don't
Eduardo.
He's better than the 2 second-year guys.
Yeah, no, I don't think Hubbard will play. So that
Yeah,
I think you catch a break there. Because that's a big part of their front.
It was interesting with Bill talking about them yesterday. He doesn't always say this, but he's like, it's a team defense. I think that sounds stupid, but
they
it
lost their
describes
best
them well.
corner,
Yeah,
and they've sort of been okay with it. I mean, they're banged up back there.
They have a bunch of
They have a lot of injuries on defense.
They have a bunch of above-average players on defense. I don't know if
like no star, but
DJ Reader's probably the closest thing, and he's a hell of a player.
Yeah,
but I don't know if they have Matthew Judon's a better player than anybody that they have on their defense. Like that's the way I kind of look at it.
What's frustrating is I just feel like they're one of those teams that I used to think the Patriots were, that no, they're not great, but they know what they're doing and they all play really well together, and that seems like what they kind of have.
I think they have a good defense, but to Evan's point, I don't think it's one of those defenses that keeps you up at night.
No,
I think with their offense, their defense is good enough.
Yeah,
right.
I think if they had a terrible offense, the way the Patriots have played all year,
you get exposed.
like you wouldn't be winning games because of the defense hanging you in the game every week.
Alex is in Canada. Hey, Alex.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Hey.
So, Paul, earlier you were talking about, attitude problems. I think one thing that's been really frustrating, especially since the Chicago game, is just, Mac's attitude. I mean, you're supposed to be a captain on this team and, leading your offense, and I know it's been a frustrating year and with Patricia and all that, but the attitude you're putting out, it's got to reflect on the rest of the offense. It can't be helping, right? Anyways, I'll
it's a tough one, Alex, and I know
Thanks,
Tom
Alex.
Curran. Tom Curran wrote
he went right at him yesterday.
Yeah, he wrote a pretty scathing column about Mac and just how, basically what we've been saying here. Yeah, you've been dealt a tough lot. It's a bad hand that you got. In year two, getting a defensive coordinator to be your offensive coordinator wasn't great. But I don't think he's handled it well. And I think Tom Curran was a lot stronger than the four of us have been on this topic.
I mean, direct question yesterday.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm talking about the sidelines. Does it seem, how do you...
So I agree with Alex. Yeah. I don't think that's helped. The fact that he has sort of openly expressed his disdain for what the coaching has been has not probably rallied the Bournes and the Aguilars and the Henrys and everybody else to say, yeah, we could do this.
Yeah.
We could do this. If he doesn't think they can do it and he doesn't like what they're doing,
Right.
it's
human
nature. It's going to seep through the rest of the offense.
Did you connect the dots during maybe it was just during the game, but with Mac freaking out at the sideline, and then he goes out and he rushes the snap, and then they get Johnny's not ready, and it just seems like it's taking him out of the game a little bit.
A little while ago just said, I don't like to call players' effort into question. And the reason why I would assume that you don't like to do that, same reason I don't like to do it, because I'm not in someone's mind. I don't know what the guy's mindset was going into
Plus,
the play.
I think they're professional athletes and they all try. Like, that's...
Yeah. So I can tell you there's countless examples I could give you of when I watched a guy and said, he didn't look like he was trying all that hard on that play. But I'm with Evan on this. I don't really like to do that. I don't know what was in Mac Jones's head on that play. Was he still flustered because he was just yelling at them and had to take another timeout and had a touchdown wiped off the board because of this? And only Mac knows that. I know a lot of people have said, well, he was all out of sorts, and then he called for the snap before the maybe that happened. I'm not telling you it didn't.
Maybe get lined up correctly.
Maybe John O. Smith didn't run into motion as fast as he was supposed to.
He was lined up incorrectly.
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't covering the end of the line.
Obviously, another mistake was Bill running.
Yeah, all I know is he was moving when the ball was snapped, and that's not supposed to happen. And I can tell you, in high school, when I had to call the snap, that was a cardinal sin. Do not ever call for the signal until that guy is set.
Yeah.
Not that we had, in 1985, we didn't have multiple guys in motion, stepping back off the line. We didn't have, power eye right 20.
Paul ran a complicated offense.
Power eye right 22 lead. It's
what
on
was
one.
Your pre-snap motion percentage?
We had a lot of pre-snap motion, but we didn't have a lot of sort of
motion
snap.
At the snap.
Yes. And that kind of stuff. But we would. Every once in a while we got really crazy and went power eye right 23 lead.
Ooh. Yeah.
The C gap.
And the other thing.
And it's on 2. Now listen.
Damn it, Billy.
Hold your water because it's on 2, and it never works.
I will say this about the Mac thing though. Look, I get it. It makes for good radio. This is what we do, right, in this industry. But his attitude and all this stuff is such a small percentage of what I'm concerned about with the quarterback. Why? Let's talk about how he's playing, right? And maybe the attitude stuff is trickling into his play, but there's issues that I've seen, really since the Buffalo game that have started to come up with his mechanics and all that kind of stuff that I'm far more concerned about than him blowing his top at Patricia because of the play call or whatever.
But the thing about it is, when he does that, he doesn't get a break because we haven't seen yet where he gets really mad, yells at somebody, and then lights it up.
Yeah.
Like the way Brady would. He'd get furious. Or McEnroe, who would get mad and then he would just turn it on. We haven't seen that type of emotion be a positive yet.
To Evan's point,
if it was if he used it as a positive, we wouldn't be so critical.
Yeah, no one would talk about it. I was just to Evan's point, if he was Johnny Popoff and then went out and threw for 400 yards, it works for you.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly what his, family friend, Pop Warner coach told me when I interviewed him for, the initial piece we did after they drafted him. And his point was that all this emotion stuff, has happened to him his whole career. But in Pop Warner, high school, lower level competition, clearly, but he was able to bounce back, and he was able
because he was so much.
I think
better
the way
than
he said the way he said it to me was, things wouldn't be going well, and you'd see him kind of tear up, and you'd think you might lose him, and then he'd kind of refocus and he'd get back in there and do it. I think that's just the part we aren't seeing here in the NFL. At the height
I
of
definitely
competition.
think that is something. Again, I'm going to reference that Tom Curran piece. I would think that's something that's going to be on Belichick's mind in the offseason. We need to go back, and I know that Saban talked about it a lot with him. That was where the McEnroe thing came from. Belichick is going to say, listen, we need you to sort of stay the course here. We need and I don't think Belichick would want to take the emotion out of it.
No.
You don't need a robot.
Right.
But you have to exude confidence and calm, and
Correct.
it's
you have
almost
to find a balance.
As a parent. I mean, when something's going wrong, your kid's sick or something, it's you the team kind of feeds off of your energy. But like you guys said, I think they like the energy. It's just you have to feel like the energy he's exuding is confidence and calm, and that, all right, we got this. And right now it feels like he's frazzled like with everybody else.
Yeah, and it also seems like deflection, like because it happens when things aren't going right. And, so when things aren't going right, he's yelling, he's questioning. And, it's like, okay, how much is it all his fault, Patricia, yours? It seems like it's deflection because it's always happening when things aren't going right. And, so he needs to be able to channel it. He is a captain. It means something. Yeah. You're a leader. People are looking to you for guidance. And, so it's something that they're going to have to address in the offseason.
I think to the bigger point is that Max 99% probably going to be the quarterback next year. I just think it's the offensive operation and the pieces around him. That's what needs the attention first. And if they do that and Max still is middling and up and down and all these kind of problems next year, then maybe you start to talk about, all right, is he the answer? But nobody can get year 2 in this situation and figure out what they are and who they are. They've had no success. He's had no confidence-building games where, hey, it's starting to click. It's like every time you go into one of these press conferences, it's the same thing. It's, just we're working hard at it. We're going to get it, right. And you're like, it's frustrating for us to listen to because it's just like, dude, we've been listening to this in August. Like, I'm sure it's just as frustrating for them to have to watch it and to continue to get those corrections and everything.
The one other thing I want to bring up, Mike Lombardi, yesterday. I don't know if you heard his quotes.
Yep.
He was on his podcast, and he came and we know he's connected to Bill. Now what we don't know is, does he still talk to him at length, and is he getting insight?
Yeah. Was that Vegas this summer?
Yeah.
Like he came by practices.
So what does he know right now about what's going on with the team? But he said that about the Patricia thing, it's a failed experiment.
Yeah. Yep.
And I thought that was okay, because he wasn't saying that early.
No, you're saying Max got to stop throwing interceptions early.
Right. And when before the season, he wasn't questioning the move to make. He never did that. Now he's saying it's a failed experiment.
Yeah.
And I thought that was something, for him to say that.
It is a failed experiment. And I think the biggest thing that with Mac is, kind of evaluating him moving forward and if he's the answer and all that kind of stuff, is when other teams dink around with their young quarterbacks, we always say, well, that situation wasn't fair, right? Last year Trevor Lawrence, right? Oh, well, he's a good player, but he was just dealt a crap hand. Justin Fields, we've used that excuse for him. Right on down. Really, the only one that hasn't had that excuse is Zach Wilson. I think everybody's just like, oh, he's just not very good, right? But with Mac, it seems to me like we should be giving him the same benefit of the doubt that the Jaguars gave Trevor Lawrence and the Bears have given Justin Fields. And I think it was Mike who said it earlier. If next year they give him that stable situation and it doesn't look any better, then we can have the conversation about him being the answer here long term. But you just can't judge anything off of this season.
Look at Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, right? He's playing well. He's building. There was a difference clearly with how they changed the operation around him. Gave him Christian Kirk. He's
just said that guy. Why'd you look?
I was complimenting his point.
Doug Peterson comes in, who's a well-known offensive coach.
You were out, but what did you think of Mike Lombardi's comments yesterday, if you heard them, about it being a failed experiment?
So I have to go off of what he said yesterday, not what he said the last time?
Right.
When it was Max
Because it's directly it was direct opposition of what he originally said.
Right.
When he called us naive if we thought it was about coaching.
That's right. Yeah.
That's a direct quote.
So
naive.
So do you think that his change was because he talked to somebody or just convinced himself?
Watch the games.
All right. So you guys, do we have that? So basically he went through a long thing and said, they don't have any plan. They have no coaching. They're like playing Battleship. Was the analogy he did.
Same thing we said. They're just running plays.
They're just running plays, blah, 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 blah. He was very critical of the offensive coaching, which I think we all agree with, right? We're all on board with, except for it's exactly the opposite of what he said about 8 weeks ago. But that's neither here nor there. My guess, Freddie, if you're asking me my feeling, is there's two things. Number one, he probably has an idea that the guys who are in charge of the offense will not be in charge of the offense next year. So now he can freely take shots at the lieutenants because he's backing up Bill. It's not Bill's fault. It's the lieutenant's fault, even though Bill put the lieutenants in place. Whatever.
Yada, yada, yada.
The other thing, and I do not dismiss this part of it, his son was one of the offensive lieutenants last year,
Mick.
and he's no longer here anymore.
Yep.
Because he said another thing that I thought was laughably ridiculous at the end of that rant. So Mick Lombardi is now an offensive coach in
Offensive
the
coordinator.
Raiders. He was an offensive coach with the
coordinator.
With the Patriots. That's why I said he's not.
He was the wide receivers coach
because
last
we
year.
know that Josh is really running the offense. Okay. So I think he's telling you, this is what happens when you take away good coaches and you leave them with defensive guys. Like, I think he's trying to defend his son a little bit too, and the reason why.
But like you said, he never said that when it happened.
No, and the reason why I think he's talking
Now
about
he's got the all clear.
But I think he had something about his son in mind when he was ripping. Is, well, they're not doing. They have enough to be a good offense. Which I think the four of us they have enough to be better than this offensively. Let's put it that way.
I've always said that.
Right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, better than this. I don't know how good you think they can be, but they should be better than this.
Average.
Yeah.
They have more on offense than the Raiders, which to me is
That was
a direct,
crazy.
a direct
They have
indication that he's defending his son.
They have more
They never had
talent.
the talent
Because
here.
their
Said that
offense
he
is
had
broken.
more talent than the Raiders.
He
Oh,
said
yeah.
that.
He said it. That was all part of the rant.
Crazy.
Okay.
And it
Crazy.
was, and then as it's funny because he's so stubborn.
Maybe he meant because of the injuries to the Raiders, but still.
he didn't say
Like,
that.
He's so
trying
stubborn,
to-
I
Evan.
think it by Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
He's so stubborn that I think as he started to say it, he realized how silly it sounded because he goes, well, they have Adams. But, like, okay. So that's like saying,
the
okay.
leading rusher in the league.
So you might, I mean, you could go on paper and say, well, Adams is better than anything the Patriots have. But if you wanted to make the argument that Myers and Bourne and Aguilar are better than number two, I wouldn't make that
Matt
argument.
Collins, Keelan Cole.
Okay, I
right.
wouldn't make that argument. But if you wanted to, it's irrelevant. Because even if you say they have one and you have 2, 3, and 4, the gap between their 1 and your 2, 3, and 4 is so enormous, you can't tell me that the Patriots' weapons are better. Then he goes, and they have Waller. Like,
He hasn't played all year.
But I'm just saying, like, he's just talking about the personnel. Like, to Fred's
Yeah.
point, he wasn't talking about the injuries.
Right.
He's defending the fact that the Raiders have been wretched on offense all season because his son is the offensive coordinator.
Okay.
Anybody looking at the personnel of
Yeah.
the Raiders' offense and the Patriots' offense, the only edge that you might give the Patriots is offensive line.
Right.
Because the offensive line with the Raiders is a complete and total mess. They had 3 backups out there on Sunday.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. His son last year, Mick, coached wide receivers. And the wide receivers last year are much better than they are this year.
But that's neither here nor there.
I don't want to throw all of it at Matt Patricia and Joe Judge's feet because I'm starting to look a little bit at Troy Brown as well because the way that these guys run routes, the spacing of
Your
the
boy
routes,
Bedard threw that
the
out there
timing
today.
of the routes, like all of it is a mess. And Tyquan Thornton is an absolute mess. I mean, watching that guy run routes is painful. So I just think that all of these pieces, it's like, okay, well, maybe it's the design of the play is telling them to run the routes here and there and the designs are broken. But my guess is when they put it up on the whiteboard or they hand them the tablet with the playbook, like they're not telling them to run routes on top of each other. That's the execution of the play. And that comes back to how the receivers are being coached. Like it just has to.
Like we love Troy Brown. I mean, he was Mr. Patriot. And when he played, his football IQ was out of the universe. Like he just instinctively knew what to do. Sometimes it's like Ted Williams. Like he couldn't coach hitting because
Michael Jordan.
For him it was instinctual. It was like, and he couldn't understand why everybody else didn't know that. And like I wonder with Troy, like great player, football IQ enormous, but like does it translate? Is he able to teach
Get
that?
guys to play that way?
It's
I mean,
not.
it's
It's
hard.
not that easy when it comes so easy to you.
So a couple years ago, I think it was 19, Troy did a lot of work with Jacoby, and they would work after practice up in the virtual room, they call it, where they have a little like 20 yards of turf that they would just run the initial state, the release and the stem, and then you don't run 40 yards down the field, obviously, but you work on the initial technique of the route. But he was working on them with technique and the details and stuff like that. But Mick was coaching the bigger picture, right? Or Joe Judge at that time was coaching the bigger picture. So I just wonder, maybe he's a really good technique coach, right? And I see these guys that are private technique coaches.
He's a Tom House of
right?
receivers.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the message is getting across for the structure of the entire play.
Right.
And so that I think is something that has to be talked about as well, because the routes that these guys are running, they're rounding them off. They're not precise. They're not timed up with the quarterback. Like it's a big problem. So obviously, it's all the coaches.
Yeah. Yep.
But to me, that goes back to Patricia, because he needs, as a coordinator, he would recognize that in practice, do that overall, structural setting up of the play.
Yeah.
How it's supposed to look. This is how the play's supposed to look.
That's the other question that I have, and we don't unfortunately get to watch. Does it look good in practice? And I don't mean does it look like they're like,
That's what I've been asking all year.
It's the 07.
That's why you
It
have
didn't look
all
good
those
in training
cameras in
camp.
practice.
Right. I'm not saying it's the 07 Patriots out there, but I'm just saying, does the spacing, does the timing, do they hit it in practice, and then they get into the games, and when it's actually live is when
lose their minds.
it goes off the rails, or is this always a mess, right? And I think that's an important question.
Unfortunately, we don't get to watch practice.
No, it's not
but when
training
we
camp.
did, it didn't look good.
Right.
Well, and that's why, and Evan, before you came aboard, and these two guys will tell you, I didn't share their over-the-top enthusiasm for how great the offense could be, but that doesn't mean I thought it would be this.
Yeah.
Like,
No, this is below the line.
I can't believe, I still can't believe that it hasn't really gotten any better at any point all year.
Yep.
I never would have thought that, ever. As much as I wasn't saying, like, well, they got this guy, they got that guy, they got that. I thought they lost some pieces of the offensive line, and that would be I never envisioned
the only glimmer
the
of hope
ineptitude
we
that
had
they've
was the Minnesota game. That was the glimmer of hope, and then it just reverted right back.
In the fourth quarter, it was gone.
So I actually watched that tape again because I was curious, and when I broke it down a second time, I was like, was this really that good? Like, and you kind of looked at it, and a lot of what I came away from it was, in that game, they happened to win some one-on-one matchups in the secondary. Devontae Parker beats his guy on the outside, and they throw a bomb. Hunter Henry's wide open off of play action for the big touchdown. But when you actually break down the routes and how it all looked, it still looked like a mess. And I think Kurt Warner pointed this out on the big video that he did about it, where it was like, this is a difference between things that can flash for one game versus consistently being able to execute it every single week. That game was a flash in the pan. That game was, we got some good matchups. We had some situational play calls that ended up working out. But when you actually look at the big picture, we're not going to be able to do it again next week. And that's where we're at.
Let's get back to the phones. We'll go to Willem and Phillum. What's up, William?
Hey, Fred. What's going on?
Hey.
I have so many things I want to ask, but I want to ask Evan one question, and then the other one will be towards, like, it'll be for everybody basically, and it'll be about Mac, and let's just say Mac as far as what's around him basically. So I'll start with this one first with what am I gonna say? Wow, I forgot that thing. Well, I was gonna say, I'll start with Mac first then. So, okay, y'all, I don't want to say just Patriots Unfiltered, but I would say fans, the media, everybody as a whole, y'all saying that, okay, well, he gets angry, he gets upset, he acts like a spoiled brat, this, that, and third, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I see some of that too. I'm with y'all with that. But the part I'm not with y'all, he's not Tom Brady. He's not. He's
right.
I know y'all want to see him do that. Like, okay, he's mad, he's upset. Okay, let's go off, man. Let's see you break off almost 3-something passing yards and whatever like that. His mechanics is broken, gentlemen.
Well,
you have Bill. Bill has diminished him, and Matt Patricia. They have tore this young man apart. And everybody's coming in. I understand he takes some.
So is your point? William? Is your point that he has a right to act the way he's acting?
No. I'm not talking about how he's acting. No, his acting, that's uncalled for. But what I'm saying is the comparison that y'all doing with him. You know what I mean? Like, you comparing him to the GOAT. Are you?
No, I'm not.
Who compared him to Tom Brady?
I mean, the only thing I said is, like, if we saw him use that emotion positively, like at the result, like he came out and played better, I think we'd give him more of a break. But it's not working for anyone.
Him.
It doesn't work for him. It doesn't
Fred,
work for anybody on the sideline or his teammates. It's not positive.
But here's the problem, Fred. He's broken. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, well, that could be true.
Like you think about, from 2021. Y'all can say that he had pretty much of a good rookie season, correct?
Yep.
Decent.
He had Josh McDaniels in 2021. So now in this year he got Matt Patricia. We all know he doesn't know anything about, the offensive side of things. So why you think Mac is how? I mean, Mac should be hollering at him and stuff like that and being disrespectful. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is I can see it from afar from, and so can y'all too. You can see it. Why did he digress, gentlemen?
Well, don't we agree?
I don't think anyone's arguing with you there. I think that's
he's not.
Even
Michael.
I mean, even Mike. Thanks for the call.
That's been the big.
I think Mike Lombardi agrees with you.
That's been the big thing, throughout the season is, and I think the vast majority of people feel the way William just explained, that yes, Mac Jones hasn't played well. This is why.
Yeah.
It's not his fault. This is why.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But
I think most people around here, if you listen to,
he
I don't blame him.
Right now, he can't control who the offensive coordinator is, and he can't control a lot of things. But he can control his emotions.
Yeah.
And like, it's one thing to be fiery, but like I said the other day, to tell your coach, go get the F out of here or shut the F up. That's over the line. That's over the line. It's one thing to be emotional, but that's dismissive.
At this point, go all in with it though, because on Saturday against the Bengals, what I would like to see is a group of offensive players that finally stand up and are like, we're better than this, and regardless of how awful the coaching is and regardless of how awful the play calls are, and I'm not saying go rogue, because if they did that once, let's not do that again. Yeah. So I'm not saying go rogue, but I'm saying go make plays. If
you're good enough, you should be able to overcome bad coaching, at least to us. At least some point. It shouldn't
every
be
once
this.
in a while.
It shouldn't be this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying do it for the whole course of a season, but for one game, can you
if Hunter Henry is in the gang of five or whatever, don't drop the ball then. Don't complain if you're not going to catch the ball.
Yeah, I also think it feeds into, I think we all agree that Mac needs things around him. And I don't want to say that it has to be perfect, but this kind of stuff makes you wonder, how perfect does it have to be for him? What's the bar in terms of, challenges that he has to deal with? If he has to go into a game in a couple of years without his best receiver and, I just don't have a lot of confidence right now that when his back's against the wall that you're going to get his best football. And I think that's, feeds into the emotion point. But where's the bar? It's very rarely perfect for any quarterback in this NFL. Everybody's going to have something that they have to work, some kind of challenge. So, at some point he's just going to have to prove
his challenge?
His health. Not having a...
Yeah, I mean, he can't stay healthy, but,
Let's go to
I thought we were hoping that he was a lot better than Tua. Wasn't that the mindset last year?
Let's go to Kevin in South Carolina. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, guys. Wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, Kevin.
Fred, I want to kind of go back to what you started the show with about the new YouTube NFL agreement.
Oh, okay.
And I got a real bone to pick with the NFL over this because I know you guys said the pricing will probably be the same as what it is now for DirecTV. Yep. Now, I'm a guy that I moved out of Massachusetts 4 years ago, and I've slowly lost touch with all the sports teams except football, except the Patriots. I didn't see any of the Red Sox last year. I haven't watched any of the Bruins, any of the Celtics. But yet, I'm somebody that still follows the Patriots. I watch every game that's available down here that's on, I think it's 6 and maybe, I think 7 this week because we're going to get the Patriots game this weekend. I've got the NFL Plus, and so I'll listen to the game because you can't watch the game live if it's not a market game. Sometimes I end up watching the game after.
Cool story,
I listen to it.
All right, we got to.
I mean, it's. Go ahead.
Okay, but get to your point because we have a lot of people that want to get on.
Picks.
All right. So the NFL the Apple was the one that had the was supposed to have the deal, or was in the
that was rumored. Like they had, they were close. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And reportedly, the thing that kind of broke it was they wanted to cut the price for the package because they wanted to just get people to kind of go to their platform, and the NFL didn't want to do that.
Well,
and I just think that's so short-sighted and stupid by the NFL to do that. Because I got to tell you, I'm not going to pay if it's what it is for DirecTV. I'm not going to pay for it.
Okay.
And so that's just what I wanted to say about that.
Right.
All right.
But beat the NFL for that.
Okay.
Yeah, but
thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just from afar. I've never had to worry about this because I'm in market, obviously. But like, the NFL is 16 games a year. You can follow your team
17.
without buying it. Yeah, 17 games a year. You can you can follow your team without having to buy anything, because you're going to be on national TV a couple times. You're going to get a game in market even when you're out of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can if you don't buy something for the Celtics, Bruins, and Red Sox, they're not going to be on national TV anywhere near that percentage of time that you can follow it.
Right.
So,
Also,
like, you can
there's
say, like, well, it's too
alternatives to
expensive.
this
Yeah.
as
like,
well, like, just to let people know, like, you can buy a Fubo subscription. You can buy Sling TV. Like, there's other alternatives to getting out-of-market games that they have with streaming now other than this. So, there you go.
It's just so much easier to watch the NFL.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, a couple more calls, and then we'll get into some picks.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots.
How did Verizon build the fastest 5G in the world? We started by building it right with 5G Ultra Wideband. Then we gave it massive capacity and near zero lag. And it's not just fast, it's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. This is 5G built right from the network more people rely on, only on Verizon. 5G Ultra Wideband available only in parts of select cities. Global claim based on open signal independent analysis. 25 times analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q2 2020.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Want to get into the game? Get coached up at Dean College. Equipped with exclusive academic partnerships featuring the Patriots, Revolution, Providence Bruins, summer baseball, and more, our classrooms are set up for success by learning directly from the pros. Dean College has programs in communications, sports management, business, and marketing with unprecedented hands-on experiences. Our students take what they learn in the classroom and put it right to work in the marketplace. At Dean College, our students don't just play games, we run them. Visit us at dean.edu.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix eSports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no!
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith, a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment, day in and day out, to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
Patriots fans, you'll want to check out the replay on this one. Pat the Patriot is stealing the show tonight with his Bank of America mobile banking app.
That's right, folks. So here we see Pat cheering, and then whammo! Is that Bank of America life plan?
Looks like he's saving up for some big future moves. Planning the next vacay, huh, big guy?
And wait, now he's paying back his buddy for concessions using Zelle? No penalty there. Incredible!
No way! As if that double move wasn't impressive enough, now he's beefing up his account defense with security meter? Holy cannoli, what a performance!
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive, Patriot fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/banking. You must be enrolled in online banking or download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Terms and conditions apply. Member FDIC. Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots.
How did Verizon build the fastest 5G in the world? We started by building it right with 5G ultra wideband. Then we gave it massive capacity and near zero lag. And it's not just fast, it's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. This is 5G built right from the network more people rely on, only on Verizon. 5G ultra wideband available only in parts of select cities. Global claim based on open signal independent analysis. 25 times analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q2 2020.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Want to get into the game? Get coached up at Dean College. Equipped with exclusive academic partnerships featuring the Patriots, Revolution, Providence Bruins, summer baseball, and more, our classrooms are set up for success by learning directly from the pros. Dean College has programs in communications, sports management, business, and marketing with unprecedented hands-on experiences. Our students take what they learn in the classroom and put it right to work in the marketplace. At Dean College, our students don't just play games, we run them. Visit us at dean.edu.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
And now, great moments in History.
I got my tonsils out, and I had back then you stayed overnight. But this was planned. I mean, back then I sucked my thumb and I had a blanket, and I did. I stopped that last year, but
we know who the pussy is now.
So you're in this crib at night, and of course, if you need anything, you had a button to get the nurse there. So I realized my blanket was in my suitcase.
He said, "Suck it with his eyes."
So I remember
6 years old.
I remember being this little kid, but so I press the button, and the nurse comes over, and she says, "Well, what do you need?" I said, "In that suitcase, there's a blanket. I need it." And this thing was like tattered because I had literally had it since I had been born. Like where I rubbed it was all worn out and everything. So the nurse goes in, she goes, "This thing?" And I remember I said, "Just give it to me."
I don't need your commentary.
I was like 5 or 6. Just give it to me.
That's another great moment from
Bridgestone is the official tire of the New England Patriots and a proud partner with Sullivan Tire, New England's headquarters for quality Bridgestone tires. Visit sullivantire.com to find a location near you.
I know you're a Blanky guy.
Oh, yeah. I was a big Linus guy.
Yeah. My sister was, too.
Yeah.
I kind of was. I had one my parents called Rotten Rag, and it started out as a blanket, and then it just got destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
It's like gross.
No, but like this was a white blanket. It had a bunny in the middle, and my aunt made it for me when I was born, literally when I was born. And like when I say the thing was in tatters, because I would, rub it.
Yeah.
And it was just...
was
you had to find a corner every time because it was just all worn away,
Oh, that's hitting home.
And I probably did have it longer than I should have. Like my grandmother once threw it in the garbage, and I went and got it.
My sister did too. I hope she's not listening because I did see her today. And she still liked to have it when she went on sleepovers and stuff, even like college. And she would just slip it in her pillowcase.
Yeah.
And she did it at a hotel, like when she's an adult, and she forgot it. And then she was calling the hotel to be like, extreme sentimental value. I mean, like, this is the blankie that she's, and that's how it went out.
I remember the first sleepover. I was supposed to sleep over at Michael Dela Cruz's house. And at first it was like, oh, this is great. And then the more I thought about it, it's like, well, how am I going to explain this, So, like, I was, like, distraught. My mother was like, let's just call them. We'll call them and let them. And it turns out like he had one too. So everything was great. You
guys didn't have
but like it was a big deal. How am I going to do this?
I had a Beanie Baby that I got when my grandmother passed away. So it meant a lot to me. And when I went away to summer camp, I didn't want to like be the one with the teddy bear, right? So I was embarrassed by kind of like Fred. And my mom like made me this like little pouch, like she sewed it.
The secret Beanie Baby
and it was
pouch.
like a little pouch that they like lived in, but they didn't like you couldn't tell what it was.
Right.
And I guess she had like one of her friends like had said that they did the same for their kid in a similar situation, and he had like some sort of
People are like, what a bunch of pussies.
Yeah.
Hey,
We could say that back then. I don't know if you can say that now.
Fire
They
me.
were all just little kids that liked our thing. Did he ever come out of the pouch after that point, or did he live in the pouch?
He lived in the pouch,
henceforth?
and I'm pretty sure he's at my parents' house still in the pouch.
Oh,
but
nice.
I was obviously I was like 6.
Just kind of stick your hand in a little bit,
Yeah.
rub them a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't have to deal with any of that.
855. Let's sneak
Tough
in a
guy
couple
over
calls
here.
here before
No,
picks.
not at, like to
I
the
had a
contrary.
baseball glove.
To the contrary. No, I was chewing tobacco. No, I didn't. I
Snuff.
just didn't have any of that stuff.
Yeah. Paul had his book, with all the bets in it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Was that like an Italian shot? Like that's not okay either.
No,
like,
you're a
what? I'm
better.
Italian, so automatically I win book. I mean, I see what you're doing. It's not okay.
You just said that like way too easily.
Italian, Everett, and that you like to bet.
The city kid. City kid, right?
Chester's in Arizona. What's up, Chester? Buy apparel.
Hey, boys. Happy holiday. Merry Christmas to you guys.
Thank you.
Real quick shout out to Willem and Philip for his awesome calls continually. I love listening to that guy's calls. He's awesome. Unlike the other Christian in L.A., a.k.a. Chris with an STFU.
Oh,
Guy's
wow.
brutal to listen to.
Wow.
Whoa.
I love it. Color crime. Yeah.
Boom, roasted.
Yeah.
Got to bring it back. Not enough of that going around these days. But, quick rant. I know we got to hurry here. But, last time I called last week, I got some flack from Paul for sounding disheartened. And I think last game really kind of summed this up as to why. This is the sloppiest team in Belichick era, hands down. I mean, period. It's been said so many times on this show. Just like porn, it's just like it when you see it, and it's just not clicking, as you guys say, week after week. that caller from Canada was dead on in saying that Mac's attitude is absolutely toxic. And to me, the quarterback sets the tone for the offense. And I feel like in so many ways he's failed the team and just trying to keep them going forward and trying to get continually better.
Yeah.
I want to buy in on this kid, but, I'm having a really hard time doing it between the tantrums, the indecision, and sounding like he's baked every single press conference. I want a leader. I want somebody who's an alpha dog who's going to go out there and show me he's the leader of this damn team. It's frustrating as hell. But, beyond that, it's year 2. It's way too early for this. I mean, he should be keeping his mouth shut and learning. It's year 2. He's not like a 3-4 year veteran where you can start,
not this generation.
out there.
Sorry.
Way too early. Now
was that too much to ask, Chester? That's why I'm looking for a little passion.
Fire.
That's Chester's back.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking
Good call,
for.
Chester.
You're going to get it, Paul. all
Good
right?
call, Chester.
I know. Listen, I know it's a jovial weekend with the upcoming holiday, but for me,
With all
it's
due
time for this
respect
team
to
put their
Christmas.
balls on the table. It's time for this defense and offensive line to get physical, and it's time for the fans in Gillette to make some noise. Period.
Look,
all right.
with all due respect to
There's nothing
Christmas.
else to lose. And bottom line, I'm done after this line here. The way that I see it is that if this team doesn't respond with some fire, it's time to can Patricia and the Joe Judge clown show. Sit Mac for the rest of the year and give me some Zappy.
Whoa.
Let's see what this guy can do. 'Cause I'm absolutely done if it ain't happening this Saturday.
All right.
Get that win. Buy some apparel. Merry Christmas.
All right.
What a call. Thanks, Chester.
Thank you.
Great call,
like,
Chester.
see, you guys haven't been around for a long time with Chester. That's what Fred and I have become accustomed to hearing from Chester.
That's
call.
I mean, that's
It's usually positive.
Yeah,
this
it's
was,
usually
this was
how we're
negative.
going to beat the team coming
Correct.
up. But
Right.
We can't do that.
It's a
But
little
that
different.
kind,
Yeah,
of
that's what he was comparing
enthusiasm.
it to his last call, and
Yeah.
you were like,
high
"You're not the same
energy,
dude."
and boy,
passion.
going after other callers. I like it.
I like that. Caller and caller crime is fine.
Dwayne's in Boston. Hey, Dwayne.
Hey, Mac Jones sucks. He's a coward, and I hate him.
Whoa.
Wow.
All right.
Whoa.
All right.
Is that
This
it?
is the most boring phase of the Patriots of my lifetime watching the Patriots. You can tell me that you're satisfied watching Mac Jones, but you cannot tell me that you're entertained. It's like watching that new Batman movie. Listen,
I like the new Batman.
Yeah, the new
movie.
Batman movie was decent.
Fred and Matt will be very upset at you. But can I ask you a quick, Dwayne? Can I ask you a quick question?
Satisfied you were not entertained. I guarantee.
I was
you just
entertained.
watched
It was a good
creepy cat
movie.
movies throughout the whole film. But that's not my point.
All right.
Great music.
Dwayne, real
Good
quick, how
villain.
old are you?
38.
Oh lordy.
Okay. Yeah, that's why this is
Okay.
probably the
Yeah.
most boring team of your lifetime.
Yes, this is
Yeah.
the absolutely no question.
2000 probably would be in that conversation.
Yeah.
You're a little young for that.
Listen, Matt Patricia, there's one thing that always gets overlooked about Matt Patricia. People keep on talking about how bad he is as an offensive coordinator. He was also bad as a defensive coordinator, and he's also terrible at player personnel. He was in the room for the 2021 draft and the 2022 draft. He drafted a quarterback that can't throw, and he was in the room as they drafted a lineman that can't block.
Wait, what?
I don't trust anything on this offense.
We're
because
putting Matt Patricia in
had
the
a happy-
category of player personnel now?
He was in the room. You can look at the video.
Okay, so
It
was our
your
camera
website.
guy, Chris. He was in the room, too. Did he make the pick?
Hey, when Bill Belichick was making the pick, he looked directly at Patricia. He said, is this the guy we're going with? And he got the nod.
Okay.
He got the nod from Patricia and all of the other player personnel guys. And my only point is, yes, I understand. Maybe, yes, that blame should go on Bill Belichick. But my point is that anything that Patricia has his fingers on turns to crap. I saw the Patriots defense turn to crap, and I see there's no question that all of the players that were signed in the offseason in 2021 are terrible. And yes, Mac Jones was the first player that was picked in that draft, and I do not trust that he has any future in the NFL or with the Patriots. And by the way, all of these Alabama quarterbacks have been terrible. They're all brittle robots. If they don't have an extremely great structure around them, they just break down, and they can't take a hit. We've seen it with all three of them. With Jalen Hurts, with Mac Jones,
I don't know.
and
Hurts
with
is
Tua.
MVP.
I hope Tua doesn't win MVP. And
Thanks, Dwayne.
Spoil your rant.
Yeah.
there.
No, I like the passion.
That was-
I like the passion,
I
but
had
I
a
don't
lot of-
agree with all of it. Like,
I had a lot of issues
You know,
with that
like,
call.
listen, agreed. Patricia, failed experiment, whatever you want to call it, but he hasn't been a total failure his whole career. He was a decent defensive coach. He did something. He's
got one of the best play calls
Yeah,
in
he's
Super
not a
Bowl
total
history,
like.
Oh,
when
stop
people are
it.
like, like going too over the edge on their criticism of him.
It gets too far for me when you start saying that he drafted Mac Jones. Like, can we stop with that? Like, come on.
Him. He's pulling the
All right, it's that time of the week, and I apologize for those emails I didn't get to, but John Rook in the playbook will get to them after this show. But yes, go ahead with the music. All right, Paul. What happened last week?
All right, it was another good week for all involved, except for Evan because he blew us off.
Evan, you're not going to do picks? What are you doing?
Don't forget your booze.
Don't forget your
booze, Evan.
So last week, Mike, Paul, and Fred, 13-3.
Wow.
Alex was 11-5.
Okay.
With the spread, it's a clean sweep all the way across. Mike, Alex, Paul, Fred, all 9-6-1. So good week for everybody last week. I am 142, 80-2. Mike 141, 81-2. I've
just nipping at your heels.
I've maintained that one-game lead for like 3 weeks in a row.
That's because Mike picks everything you pick.
I go first, Fred.
He does. He goes first, so you could blame me for that. Fred 134, 88-2. Alex is 74-47. Evan 91, 52-1. With the spread, I am 129, 91-4. Mike 112, 108-4. Fred 101, 119-4. So that's where we stand.
Okay.
All right. Let's start it out with tonight on Prime Video, 8:15. The 6-8 Jaguars are at the 7-7 Jets.
The Jets by 2. Did you say something about they're doing something different with this game tonight?
Nope.
Oh, I thought you said something about camera angles.
Oh, they've been
Amazon
doing that.
Prime.
Oh, just the Amazon.
Yeah, they've been doing
kind of
that.
advanced
Yeah.
view, which they have like next gen stats pop up. You get a big wide all 22 view.
On your smart
special
TV, you can get all
It's
that.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I haven't really seen any of the games, so
Okay.
I've missed it.
It's on the internet.
I don't care about the next gen stats, but the different camera angles I'd be interested in.
So Zach Wilson is back in for the Jets. Big game for them. I know Jacksonville's making a little surge. I'm going to go with the Jags on the road.
What'd you say the number was, Paul?
2.
I'm going to go Jacksonville on the road, and I'll take those 2 points.
This, I guess, leaves me. I'm going to take the Jets. I think the Jags are coming on, but I think this is one of those I'm not sure that they're ready for. So I'm going to take I'm not sure the Jets are ready for it either, especially with Zach Wilson. But
so
I'll take the Jets at home.
The
on a
Jets
Thursday
are favored
night.
by 2?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll take the Jets, but I'll take the points.
I love when he does that.
1-pointer.
Yeah. I want to go with the Jaguars. I've been going with the Jaguars, and they've, rewarded me of late.
Yeah.
But I just think that Jets defense just a
I
little
think
bit
Quentin
too
Williams
much
is
here.
back too.
Yeah, this is to me a Thursday night home game pick
Yeah.
for me. Like if this was at Jacksonville, it'd be Jacksonville all the way. I think the Thursday night's tough.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I've been told that we're losing cameras because of press conferences going on at the same time. So goodbye to YouTube Live, but you can still listen to us.
Get our picks.
We're not going anywhere.
Picks still coming.
Yeah. Sunday at 1, the 5-9 Falcons are at the 9-5 Ravens.
Baltimore by 7.5. Get anything on
Lamar,
Lamarvelous?
I thought it was trending towards him coming back.
I did too.
And in that case, I'm going to take Baltimore to win, but I'm gonna hedge that bet a little bit, and I'm going to take the points from Atlanta.
Mike's got it right. I think 7.5 is too much for Baltimore. That does not score like that. So I will take Baltimore to win, but I'll take the points.
Same here. Sunday at 1, the 7-7 Lions are at the 5-9 Panthers.
Detroit by 3. It's the last time Detroit was a road favorite.
Yeah.
I like it, though. I'm going to go with those Lions on the road. I'll lay those points.
Yeah, I'm going to take Detroit, too. I just think they're a much different team than they were when they were 1-6.
Yep. Detroit both ways. Sunday at 1, 11-3 Bills at the 3-11 Bears.
Buffalo by 8. Supposed to be ridiculously cold and windy in this game.
In that case, I'm going to take Buffalo to win. I'll take the 8 points, though. Assume it'll be a low-scoring affair then.
Yeah, I will take Buffalo both ways. I don't know how Chicago, if it's just a running game. Yeah, It's tough. I think Buffalo will contain Fields a little bit, and I have more faith in Josh Allen in the elements than I do Justin Fields.
That elbow, a little cranky in the cold. I'm going to take the Bills, but I'm going to take the points. I'm with Deuce.
Yeah.
Sunday at 1, 5-9 Saints at the 6-8 Browns.
Cleveland by 3.
Cleveland by 3. Yeah, I like that. I like that number. I'm going to take Cleveland at home.
Yeah, I like Cleveland too. I think with each passing week, Watson looks a little bit more comfortable. Still hasn't clicked yet, but they've won 2 out of 3 since he came back, and I think they make it 3 or 4.
Yeah, this is trending for a perfect week for me. Browns win, but I'll take those points. Sunday at
I'll tell you, if he ends up being perfect with the picks that he's making,
it's
be impressive. Like he's taking like 2 points and 3 points,
Right.
and that'd be very impressive.
Sunday at 1, the 7-7 Seahawks are at the 11-3 Chiefs.
Kansas City by 10.
Feels like a
big
number.
It's cold out there, too.
I got to imagine
Kansas
they're
City.
getting weather,
Yeah.
too. But I'm going to take Kansas City, but that's a lot of points, and there might be weather, and I don't know. I think Seattle